Choose your weapon, you kept stepping, you swept in a hurricane.
Hey everybody, it is me, Demetria Payne, and I'm sitting here with Donovan throwing his rocks. I said his rocks, not mine.
Yes.
And hiding his hand, Sadiq. This is the second edition of Don't Believe the Hype, where we ask you to go beneath the surface of what you've been seeing and hearing to find out the truth for yourself. It's not really that hard if you just try. And so today, on this part, we're going to be talking about Trump. It has just been announced today that Trump wants to end birthright citizenship for, I'd say, about 1 million or so people, or just immigrants in general, right?
That's right. I think he should do it.
And so what exactly does that mean? So that means that people who are, let's say, are not here legally, they have a child, and then that child, it used to be called, this is a derogatory term, but Trump has been saying, calling them anchor babies, in that if the child is born here, the parent gets to stay too. But now he's saying, all right, even if the child is born here, they can't stay. That doesn't matter. And so there's this debate, and he wants to do an executive order, as a matter of fact.
Well, you know, the funny thing is a lot of other countries have that rule.
Right. Well, a lot of them do, but there's 30 countries that have, I think that's what you're saying, 30 countries that have their laws and constitutions are sort of written like ours when it comes to that, and that they allow the babies to, I guess, become citizens because they're born.
But like in the like Japan and the advanced countries, no.
Well,
Germany, if you're not, so you're not going to. No.
Yeah, so it's like the United States, Australia, Brazil, a lot of the southern and centralized America. They have those laws where you have a child.
Yeah, you got dual citizenship.
Yeah, the child is a citizen. And so he's basically saying, I'm going to do an executive order, which means I'm going to use my pen as the executive of this nation, the president, rather, to end that. I'm going to sign an order saying that is no longer...
Which cannot be done, but go ahead.
Well, that is the other argument, that he can't do it because constitutionally speaking, the 14th Amendment says that if you are born here, you are considered a citizen.
Well, that also goes back into the rules of the three phases of government.
Right.
Not a lawmaker.
So. No, exactly. And so that's something that Congress needs to do. But the debate with the 14th Amendment is, well, who exactly was the 14th Amendment talking about? Well, we know back in the day when it was in its inception, it was talking about slaves, or freed slaves, rather, basically saying, because now they're not slaves, we need to give them some sort of citizenship. And so since they were born here, they are now considered citizens. And that's just kind of a layman explanation for it. I know there's levels to it, but... And so now people are saying, well, he can't do that because it says it also applies to illegal immigrants' children as well. And I guess there was a case in the late 1800s in regards to, I think he was Japanese, if I'm not mistaken, where that was an argument and he won his case. And so, of course, people are trying to go back using that as a precedent. However, he's saying, I don't care. I'm going to sign it. I can do it.
He's ignorant. Yeah.
And I don't need Congress to sign off on it, even though a lot of people in Congress, including the South Side, Paul Ryan, is like, yeah, sounds cute, but he really can't do that. And we know Paul Ryan is a staunch supporter, he used to be, of Trump.
Right. Well, again, you know government, I know government. The only way you can repeal an amendment is through the Congress. That is it. And an executive, he can write all he wants. It does not have, he can't change, he's not a dictator. He can't change.
Well, his premise, or his reason rather for saying that is he said they told me I could.
No,
now,
his
he
lawyers.
Didn't say who the they are.
No, he did. He said that he had contacted or had been in conversation with his lawyers.
Are they constitutional lawyers?
He didn't specify which one. It's probably his dumb... Stormy Daniels' lawyer or whatever that is handling that thing. God. But because, like I said, because even a lawyer of his basic ilk is going to tell you can't do it.
Well, hell, I don't know a whole lot about it, but to me, it doesn't sound like it do it. But, there is a lot of gray area in that because, again, the argument is who was the 14th Amendment really written for? Was it written to give illegal... I don't want to call them illegal aliens. The people who are here illegal, their children...
Criminals.
Shut up. Their children the rights to stay here? Or was it to citizenize freed slaves or black people rather after slavery. So what was it really for? So that's where the argument is.
Yeah, and you also got to remember at the time when the country was fairly new and
brand new, newly stolen.
It was newly stolen. We were a young country, and you want to increase its population, so you would have to open that up and say, anybody that's here now is an American citizen, and we've got jurisdiction over them.
Right.
See, so I think that was another part of it. Just my thing.
Yeah, and so with all that, that's the argument. Like on the surface, he can't do it, even though
No, not on the surface, but he can't.
I'm just saying on the surface, and the reason I'm saying on the surface because, technically speaking, if you're just looking at the 14th Amendment for what it says instead of going, not believing the hype, you can't do it. But then somebody has to argue or figure out, who did that really apply to? Do
you think they're going to do that?
No. Well, I mean, I think it's no secret, too, that Trump is trying to gin up the mob or give red meat to his base.
That's all it is.
Yeah, by saying, okay, we're 7 days out till the elections happen. And so that's that extra, as I was drinking, here's empty glass right here, it was green juice. He's giving green juice to his base. To his base and saying, don't give up now because I'm still talking the same old shit I was talking when I was running for election. We still need to get these Mexicans out of here. And they keep on talking about the whole, there's 7,000 illegal aliens or whatever coming toward the borders. And so we're sending all these troops out there to stop them. So that's what white supremacists love to hear.
Yeah. It's funny that you bring that up because when the last invasion actually happened, they arrested 12 people.
What?
They arrested 12 people.
So you mean all our tax dollars went to 12 people?
You're going to have 5,000.
They gave me 2,000 and I would have did it for free.
Well, you're going to have, by the time they get here, these people that were running up here, by the time they get here, you're going to have 5,000-6,000 military people looking at a fence and open land.
But isn't this proving that they're not actually headed here?
Exactly.
They're headed somewhere else.
Right. But we're spending all that money in troop movements.
But again, that's money to them well spent. Just consider that campaign money because we'll just keep furthering this lie until we secure the House.
Again, remember he also said that he's going to give a middle class tax cut.
Okay.
By, January something? Congress is not even in session.
Right.
And if you believe that,
well, I mean...
I thought the $1 trillion tax cut was supposed to benefit the middle class, too.
Well, that was a lie from the pit of hell the minute
exactly.
it came out of his mouth.
So now we're supposed to believe that he's going to give a middle class tax cut?
Right. Well...
With all these tax cuts, who is paying for the damn infrastructure?
We are. We're paying for the infrastructure that's not actually getting built.
Right.
Or, like roads and stuff and extra tires. And alignments and all of that kind of stuff. Right. But... So that's pretty much what's going on with Trump and him trying to rescind or end rather the birthright citizenship and we know who he's talking about. He's talking about Hispanics or whatever. But I wanted to break it down a little bit further than that. A couple weeks back, Trump was on the campaign trail. I don't know who he was campaigning for, but he says, "Hey, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm a nationalist."
Code word for white, Aryan
and
nation.
So what is a nationalist? A nationalist is somebody who's for country, for a lack of better words. Right. Now,
I have to disagree. Patriotism means you're for country.
Well, per Wikipedia.
Okay, go ahead.
Nationalism means somebody who...
Wikipedia is written by anybody that...
Right, and so is all that other bullshit, fake news.
Yeah, but that on that particular subject, that was a white supremacist putting that in.
Right, and so that's my next point. And so if you add the word white nationalist, that changes it to something else because true indeed, we could be nationalists, per that definition.
I am a black nationalist.
Right, okay. But so if you add white nationalist to it, and not to mistake black nationalists for the same thing as a white nationalist. Black nationalists are for the improvement and betterment of their people. Right. White nationalists are for whites only, and keeping it white, staying the majority, and as you can, quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes here, the master race, and not giving up, their dominance of the population, economically polite. So that's what that's about. It's about domination. Black nationalists are about promoting for the liberation of black people in all shapes and forms. Just kind of want to make that clear. So when you add on the white to the nationalist, as I just said in that definition, that means something else. That means dominance or by
over
all
other people's,
means
right.
necessary. Okay, so what is that necessary? Now, that also means, not mixing the races and all that other stuff. All right, and so...
But they're the ones sticking there. Go ahead.
Right. So hold that thought.
I will.
All right, and so we have Hispanics, right? Because we know that's who they're targeting. Listen, this is going to sound mean and cold. I don't care. I don't have a dog in a fight for any of this, to be honest with you. But I just wanted people, especially black people, to understand what we're dealing with. Okay, so right now, Trump, white nationalist, self-proclaimed, is targeting Hispanics. Okay, so right now, Hispanics are like 57.5 million of the population. So about 57.5 million of them. With roughly 17.8% of the population. Now, 47 million of Hispanics are here legally, are citizens rather, okay? Now, in 1960, 6.3 million Hispanics populated the United States. Okay, so you look at the numbers. What is that? 1960 to now, what are we talking about? 58 years?
Yeah, 58 years, almost 60 years.
58 years. Mm-hmm. It took Hispanics to go a little bit more than 50 million in population up. Okay, so they have 50 million more people here. All right, now I want to do a comparison with black people. Okay, now blacks are roughly 13 to 14% of the population, so we're about 40 million people in the United States. In 1960, we were at 19 million, and so we've only climbed 21 million since 1960. All right, so the point that I want to make here is that black people, as far as people like Trump and white nationalists and all these other people, white supremacists, if you will, black people are already handled as far as they're concerned. Sure. Because we're not really growing that much. In fact, a lot of us are succumbing to the systemic and institutional racism as far as being in prison disproportionately, murdered by the police, you name it.
That's right. Lock them Negroes up.
Right. So black people, as far as they're concerned, are handled. We don't even have to worry about you. Hell, you guys are going to give you the Democratic Party your vote to the tune of 80%. You guys are just the walking dead as far as they're concerned.
That's right. Keep those niggas voting Democratic.
Right. And so the other part of that is Hispanics are on the rise. Hispanics are on the rise. And so what happens when Hispanics or anybody's on the rise? That means that they are creeping or nipping at the heels of the dominant party or the dominant class, the dominant race, which are white people. And so back to our original point, Trump has to tell his base, which are predominantly white people, and I just gonna call a spade, people who think like white supremacists. If not, they are white supremacists. He has to keep reminding them of that. Listen, guys, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure we keep it white. Plain and simple.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Now, from the statistics that you just quoted, white people obviously are in the minority. How is it that they keep winning presidency and positions in Congress and all these other things? We know gerrymandering, the Republicans and doing all that. They're cheating now, throwing out votes. Did you hear the guy in Georgia?
Yes.
The Supreme Court of Georgia. The Supreme Court in Georgia ruled that they cannot throw out ballots. So now the ballots have gone missing.
Well, of course, by any means necessary, we're going to keep it white. I mean, that's really what that is.
Right.
I mean, you figure somewhere like Georgia, isn't she going to be the first African-American governor of Georgia, female, ever. Mm-hmm. And so we got to keep it white. Even though probably Georgia or Atlanta, a lot of those cities in Georgia are probably predominantly black. Right,
but what I'm saying is the statistic that you just used shows that the white people have no more than maybe 40%, if not less, of the voting population, and yet they are still in positions of power.
Well, where there's money, there's what? Exactly. There's power.
Exactly.
So, white people own a lot of the wealth. And that some of it is, due to hard work, but a lot of it is just, dominating and doing
corruption and changing the rules.
Yeah, to other people. Well, that's not a secret. It's not something I'm making up. Shoot, if you don't believe me, don't believe the hype. Go looking for yourself. But that's by all means necessary. We're going to keep it white. Whether we got to cheat, lie, kill, steal, send, a bunch of Hispanics back or whatever the case is and stop them from becoming citizens, we'll do what we got to do.
So let me ask you another question.
Yes.
You ask most Caucasians, their ethnic background. Well, my father landed at Ellis Island in 1923.
He landed there?
Yeah, he landed there, and so he made a conscious decision to come to this country.
Right.
And he immigrated here from Germany, and
Right.
Or those ones in the 1800s. Well, we just came over and decided to stay.
Put our flag here.
So why is it okay for them to have that backstory, and it isn't okay for other people to have that backstory?
Well, not too long ago, too, we also heard Trump say that he wished and I'm paraphrasing, but basically white people from other countries would come here opposed to people from shithole countries, which he was referring to Africa.
You're damn right, Africa. Keep them niggas out of here.
So for any of y'all like your Candace Owens, Kanye's, and all these other Negroes who went to meet him, y'all forget that kind of stuff.
Oh, did you see your boy Kanye was in Africa last week?
Yeah, but they forget that kind of stuff. Y'all praising the dude who called your homeland, your origins, a shithole.
Well, I just gotta say, somebody suffering from reverse vitiligo.
You stupid. But to your point, he doesn't have a problem with white people coming over, because what happens when white people come over? You keep it white.
Well, no, you keep sticking your thing into the people of color, and then you keep blaming them for your disappearance.
That's been happening since slavery. Right. I mean, that's nothing new. Don't try to.
And you keep brainwashing our kids.
Don't try to run from it now.
Yeah, where you got a kid on the Dr. Phil show talking about she's white and all that other good stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, but they said that was fake. To me, it's neither here or there.
Yeah.
But I mean, so to me, I just want to talk to black people and say, like I said, I know it sounds kind of cold, but we got bigger fish to fry. Mm-hmm. I mean, at the end of the day, no shade to anybody, but at this current time, it's illegal for you to come in here, without doing it the right way, whatever that is. And so, for us to continue having bleeding hearts, hell, shit, our heart is bleeding. We about to die.
Wait a minute. Kamala Harris is, those poor kids in cages. We gotta do something. We gotta do something. They are Mexican kids.
Next thing we know, she's going to be Kamala Harris Gonzalez.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm just saying she's a panderer as well.
But didn't we say that earlier this year? Mm-hmm. Like, what does all this have to do with us?
Now everybody's getting up in arms about, what Trump is trying to do. I mean, Trump is being true to who he is, and that's who he is.
He's a bigot.
Right. I mean, and he admitted that I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm a nationalist, and that just got all the white supremacist panties wet. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was the purpose of him saying that.
Now here's the bad thing about these white nationalists. And I know those that listen to the show but don't listen to the show, but listen to the show, support everything I say. Don't be surprised when you start getting your ass kicked.
Well, like I said before I stopped off here, I got something to alleviate all that, because I'm going to keep it real with y'all. It's dangerous out in these streets, and I don't know what kind of whoever, want to step to me or say something. I'm not even going to have a conversation with you. I'm just going to end it with one push.
Exactly. See, and that's why
one pull.
When I look at these videos of these white women doing what they're doing, they feel emboldened, but it's like, if you get your ass kicked,
my thing is this. I don't play with crazy. I don't know what kind of fool you are. And you come in within my personal space, I'm going to make sure that you are not a threat to me.
Right.
And that's the end of the story.
Are you shooting the pinky toe? Or are you?
What do they tell you to do?
Shoot to kill.
Can you say it again for people in the back?
Shoot to kill.
I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know
Peanut
who
gallery.
I'm dealing with.
Shoot to kill.
All right. I don't know who I'm dealing with. I'm not going to sit and let me see this type of this. I don't think he's that kind of fool. I think he's that. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to. No.
And it's funny that you say that, because black women statistically now are being accosted.
Not this black one.
By these white men and white women.
I bet you won't be me. And if it is, you're going to read about it.
Right.
I don't need to go viral. You know what I'm saying? Because I get the whole, let's expose these people. They should be exposed. But my thing is, listen, I'm not going to be, that's what I do. I just don't understand why you don't like me. It's going to be, see, what had happened was this fool stepped to me and I did what I had to do.
So, D, you're basically going to shoot him and then sit on a curb and wait.
Whatever.
And then your officer, this is what happened. I had to take this fool out. Because,
I mean, I don't know this cat, stepping to me like he crazy. This is not 1832.
Right. And always remember, people that don't like to be filmed in public, which there's no expectation of privacy, there's cameras everywhere. So we'll have to make sure the cameras at a good angle.
But we are living in that climate, just to kind of transition back to Trump, to where he is, and a lot of people have given him the responsibility of the climate that we have experienced, especially within the last week, of the synagogue being shot up, to 2 black people that the media won't ever tell you about, but except for like a little blip.
Or that little Navy guy down in San Diego that got killed for helping a pedestrian. They didn't.
Right, or the 2 police officers that were murdered by, I think, who were they murdered by? Other white police officers.
Other police officers.
You guys don't hear about that kind of stuff. But so he's been charged with ginning the mob, if you will, getting these, and I call them yahoos. That might be a little bit disrespectful, but to me, that's what they are. These yahoos trying to run up in black churches again, and going up in the synagogues, and just, you see them every day, like you said, people recording these people. What are you doing here? I live here. Well, I've never seen you. All that other stuff.
I make $125,000.
And Trump has given them the green light to act like that. But I have a shirt. I should have wore it today if I know we was going to go here. That says, "Dear Racism, I am not my grandparents' generation signing these hands."
Right.
And I think that's what they're not. See, we haven't really seen somebody just boop, 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 to Becky as she's running up on them. We've seen people, oh gosh, we're going to go viral.
Well, no, I don't think we've seen people, we haven't seen black people do that. Because like I said, here in this town where I'm from, when I started speaking out and speaking up, they weren't used to that. And they're still not used to it.
Well, they want you to stay in your place, boy.
Exactly.
They want you to stay in your place, And so Trump, he's one of those people, I know I don't mean to give him your title, but he likes to throw rocks and hide his hand. Right. Oh, I do. Well, I mean, there was on his campaign trail, he was telling people, "I'll get you out of jail," if basically, for lack of better words, you handle that. However you want to do that.
And if you know anything about Trump's legal expenses, he doesn't pay them. So.
Right. So your ass gonna be in the queen.
Yeah, in the queen for nothing.
Right. And so, I mean, that's just the environment that he's bred. And so this whole little immigration thing, or stopping the birthright citizenship, is just another thing.
Yeah, which he can't do.
Well, this is the last push, you guys. I don't want you guys to think that I'm getting soft. I'm still a bigot like you.
Well, what it is they know they're going to overwhelmingly lose that house.
They're going to lose, but it's more important. I mean, I don't know if they're going to lose. They may lose.
No, they're going to lose.
But the bigger picture, even see, because they can't. If they allow Hispanics to keep coming here, to immigrate here, eventually they'll never have the house.
Well, exactly. But here's the thing. Trump is 70-something years old. He's going to be dead soon. So, you know what I mean? I mean, it's inevitable. You're not going to live. I mean, the baby boomers are starting to go. So he's not going to be here, so it ain't going to matter.
Right. Well, the one thing I would say about white folks is they love securing a legacy and leaving one for their children. There's nothing wrong with that. We should all be doing that. But
and a lot of the Trump children will be going to jail soon. So there's your legacy.
Well, but
especially if they lose that house.
Well, you can't leave a legacy, especially the legacy that white people have in America, if it's not white. If you have it, America. Let's be honest, America is browning. Mm-hmm. America is turning brown.
That damn shithole.
Right. Well, whatever. It's turning brown, and so if you're a white nationalist, as he said that he is, you don't believe in that. You believe in keeping it as white as possible.
See, now, where's the NAACP?
Who?
Where is the Urban League?
Oh, they're actually looking for you because they're planning a trip to Sacramento. And they want you to be the bus captain.
Yeah, no. The thing is, last night I was looking at some old pictures of us going up there. I want to actually delete that shit.
They want you to be the bus captain.
No. After Miss Sharon almost got us killed on our way up there, no. That's okay. I'll pass. But the Urban League, where is CORE? Where are these great black organizations that are supposed to be champion for us?
Excuse me, say what?
Why are they so silent?
About what?
About what's going on? Why are they so silent?
Well,
wait. Why are we have to listen to entertainers and athletes speak for us?
Have you ever heard the term, if it ain't broke, why fix it?
Yes, I've heard that.
It ain't broke. These Negroes ain't gonna do nothing differently. Shit, we got the hook in them. They ain't gonna stray too far from the fence. So
that's true.
We'll speak up if they get out of line. Mm-hmm. If they start to go, exit, let's say, the Democratic Party and all this.
Here's a question I have. Mr. Steve Harvey, who's losing his show and is getting his come up.
He's coming back around.
Right. But wasn't he the one that said, "Hey, he's an all right guy"?
He's changed his tune.
Give him a chance.
He has changed. You didn't see the interview?
No, I didn't see.
Where he was saying, basically taking Trump to task.
Really?
Yeah, he's a bigot, and I'm like.
But you met with him.
Well, sometimes you have to have humbling experiences to make you realize.
I know, but see, that's what I'm saying. Why is it when he was high on the hog and it's all about Steve?
Because all those Negroes, especially when he got elected, thought it was going to be somewhere for me, a place for me.
We were on the embassy together, brother.
Somewhere, a place for us, like the West Side Story, all that. They thought they saw dollar signs. What do you need me to do, bossa? Yeah. Just like the whole Malcolm Jenkins and the Air Grease situation. For you guys don't know, sure. Malcolm Jenkins, he co-opted, or how you say, he stole. He tried to the movement of the kneeling with Kaepernick.
Yeah. Right.
He, along with the NFL, made a deal that they would stop. I don't know how he decided for everybody. They would stop kneeling, and in turn, the NFL gave him money to his foundation, $90 million, to which he funded his organization. And Eric Reed is basically, for lack of better words, like, you're a coon. Right. You're a sellout.
And this guy was the president of the Players Association, right?
Yes. And so he took it upon himself to end it. And then Eric Reed also came out yesterday and said, Malcolm came to me and said, how much would it cost for you to stop kneeling? He said that's what he asked him. And so the point that I'm making is,
wow,
I'll sell you out for some money.
Right.
But then when the money starts to dry up and then all that you thought it was going to be cracked up to be is not, then that's when you start coming back to, well, I think you guys were right. Because people start messing with you after a while.
Like Omarosa?
Where is she? Is she still alive?
Well, she's still trying to sell that book. I think you can get it at Pay for Less.
You know what?
What's
Books
that one?
for Less?
Yeah, Books for Less. For 99 cents at the thrift,
at
the thrift store or something like that. You can use it for toilet paper. Whatever you want to do. She didn't say nothing in the book. There's nothing.
Because she got it all on her Apple phone.
Oh my god.
She got the good. That's part 2. You got to get Omarosa Uncoonified part 2.
Part 2 has all the salacious stuff in there.
That was just the appetizer.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay,
gotcha.
The chitlins and the pot liquor are gonna come with the second book.
And it's funny that we laughing, and I'm gonna tell you people why I'm laughing. I'm very sure why Demetrius laughed, because we know what's going on. When the writing is on the wall, and you know what's happening. Not that we've checked out, because we still vote, we still participate.
But kind of we have checked out, because it's not that we checked out completely. We just checked out and checked into some other stuff, because like you said, when you hear Trump is trying to stop the birthrights and all this other stuff, citizenship, we know that there's more to it than that. We're like, oh my God, it's so terrible. Trump is trying
reactionary.
to do this to the Mexicans. We know it's more to it than that.
Right.
That's just what he's saying on the surface to the people who won't research.
Right. Exactly. So, in conclusion of this, what do you think is going to happen?
Not a damn thing.
No, I'm talking about in regards to, well, we know nothing's going to happen because Trump doesn't have the power, but I'm talking about how effective do you think, because, here's what I hate about Trump.
Okay, let me say this. I don't think he swayed anybody else over with that, shenanigans.
He's desperate right now because they're losing the House.
I think all the biggest who going to vote for them
and here's the thing. This is why he's scared shitless. When you lose the House, that opens you up to investigation. But guess what? Don't get so hyped up, you Democrats out there. Because y'all ain't going to do shit either.
Okay, did you see what I tagged you in? Where two friends of mine on Facebook, when I put up that post about the Democrats, blah, 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 and they said, well, we need the Democrats to take the House because then they can impeach Trump. And I said, well, we got Democrats in there. What are they waiting for? Right. Well, we need more. I said, well, can they at least get the ball rolling? Right. Maxine was talking about doing it. I said, well,
here's the thing.
We ain't heard her say
again, you got to understand, even if the Democrats take the House and they take the Senate by the slimmest of margins, you still need 2/3 of the participants to impeach him. So he's not going to be impeached. But if he takes the House, which I know they will, if they take the House, that will open him up to criminal investigation by the House. They can get his tax records. They can look into this.
What will they do it, though?
That is what it's going to show you. That's the problem. Right. Democrats ain't going to do nothing because it's the ruling party. It doesn't matter.
And that's what I was trying to tell them. I'm like, at the end of the day, they playing for the same team. The divisiveness is for us. Yes. That's to give us something to do. But at the end of the day, they all making money together, hand in hand, pie in the sky.
Wait. What did Nancy Pelosi say when Bush was in office? We're taking impeachment off the table. Why? Thousands of troops are killed. People have been killed. Thousands of Iraqis have been murdered.
What she's saying is because we taking impeachment off the table, that means we taking our money off the table too. We ain't trying to do that.
Same party, the ruling party. And until you guys understand that, we're not saying check out. We're saying understand what's going on.
No, because, it's easy. And I think I always tell people to watch this documentary called The Century of the Self. Yes. There
are so many good things you can watch on YouTube for free.
Yes. America, from very, very long time ago has been designed to operate off of emotions.
Yes.
We do that when we buy stuff. We do that when it comes to politics. We do it in every way, shape, or form, which is why a lot of us are just jacking up. Oh, it's just an emotional thing. But so when you're emotional, it robs you of your thinking ability to think rationally.
Like women. Women are very emotional. That's why you guys aren't, rational.
I mean, and emotions are good. But if you turn it into something that you're passionate about and something you have some knowledge of, that's a different story. But if you're just, oh my God, Trump is trying to do this. Oh my God, this is it. Okay, just dissect the whole issue. First of all, like you said, it is not really on the surface probable that he can even write an executive order to do that. Why even waste a news story about that? So now, but the news is complicit too, because they're to me, Trump says fake news, but the news, they're all in cahoots.
Yes.
Because if Trump doesn't say anything salacious and over the top, guess what? The news don't have a story.
Well, here's the problem.
I mean, who wants to hear about drinking green juice is good for you?
Here's the problem. All of the major news outlets are owned by 6 families.
Right.
So where's the diversity? Where's the competition? There is none.
Right. So, I mean, everybody, as you say at the top, they're all in the same gang. It's just us that are like, well,
Yeah, and they keep us fighting each other.
I need to be a Democrat. I tell you guys all the time, I'm nonpartisan. I'm not even an independent. I'm like, I'm just going to sound bad, and I'm not going to say it because I don't want to sway, not that I think I can, the way anybody else thinks when it comes to politics, but I don't want to say that I'm checked out. It's just like I'm more interested in trying to help us as Black people get to the point where we have some power.
Right. So let me ask you this. If there was a Black organization, you wouldn't believe in voting? You just believe in a dictatorship?
What do you mean?
Let's say we have a Black organization and we need to make a leadership group. You believe in dictatorship or democracy?
I believe in democracy.
You believe in voting and all that other stuff?
I believe in voting when it's going to help me. Like, I'm not going to vote for us to have steak every day of the week and I'm a vegan. Oh, so I'm going to vote for my better interest.
So if you're at NAACP, you're not going to put people on a bus while you fly up to Sacramento?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
And if you do, I won't be on the plane. I won't be on the bus.
Okay. But, you're a socialist.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like we should vote whatever our better interests are. I mean, at the end of the day, I hate to hear people say we should vote all blue. Why? Because my mama said and her mama said and all. Back then, I could
we're Democratic people, Christians.
Right. All right. The Democratic Christians that believe in abortion. Okay. As that's not an oxymoron.
Oh my gosh. I opened up somebody's eyes about that. I said, no, I'm not. No.
I mean, to me,
Planned Parenthood.
At the end of the day, I feel like it's your body, you do what you want to do, but I think you should have the facts. I mean, especially if you are a Black woman, that was all that was designed really for you to not procreate, which is why we've only grown to the tune of 21 million since 1960.
Preach it, sister.
I mean, because we Black women disproportionately, we don't do it the most, but we disproportionately have abortions than any other woman. And
we're having sex.
I mean, we are Black women, let's say, to the tune of like 36, 37%. We have abortions. White women are to the tune of 38%. White women are a part of the biggest population at what? 50, 60 something million or however many of white people in America. Black people are at 40 million. Right. So, yeah, we don't do it the most, but damn, how you keep it up with white women and they have the majority of the population.
Right. Again, let's reverse that. 13% of the population, but yet Black people make up 70%. Black and brown people make up 70% of the prison population.
But by design.
Exactly.
By design. And so that's why I believe, not to give Kanye any... I mean, I'm not trying to...
Dog him, but
I guess what I'm trying to say is I understood what he was saying in regards to the 13th Amendment, and not to... I hope he didn't mean to abolish it altogether, because that's stupid. But I guess I get what he meant when he said to abolish the portion that says except for by imprisonment, because as you said, it's mostly us in prison. And that's by design. Well, if we can't get these Negroes on the plantation, we're going to get them on the prison plantation.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we still need productivity to take place.
Right, exactly. Want to give a shout out to my big brother there. He listens to the show, and of course he does not listen to the show, and he doesn't get any wisdom.
You ain't got a lie to kick it, Smoke.
That's right, Smoke. You ain't got a lie to kick it, but he's he's awakening. He's one of those Uncle Ruckus type brothers.
What? You called your brother Uncle Ruckus?
He was an Uncle Ruckus type in his younger years.
He's the
gotta get me one of them white women.
He's the Uncle Ruckus in himself.
Yeah, he finally woke up and sees the world for what it is, and I think he's learned his lesson, and he's coming around, doing a lot of good things.
Well, that's, I'm not saying we're doing that. I mean, I'm sure he's getting his information somewhere else.
No, he isn't. He could barely read.
You know what?
He was an athlete.
Golly.
He could barely read.
That's him, so I'm not making sense.
He's one of those guys, he can put stuff together, but he won't have to read. He just fixes it.
Well, we need people to fix stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
I mean, he's going to eat.
But that's because, I was thinking about it this morning, and I was like, there's got to be another way other than what we're doing to get the information out. No, we're not going to twerk, or you're not going to twerk. I'm not going to twerk.
I ain't got no butt to twerk.
And none of that other,
You do.
Right, and I won't. But we don't have to do foolishness to get the word out.
Yeah.
But what we are doing, people, if it's one person that's getting the message, great.
And that's the whole point. If we can affect one person, where it's all worth it, in the end. So
I just refuse to sell out my integrity, for likes, because I'll tell you what, not that I suffer from it. I think you do though. The likes are addictive.
The likes are addictive.
Likes.
Oh, I could care less. You have more likes than I do.
Well, I was joking, obviously, but they're addicting. People do all kind of crazy stuff for likes and subscriptions. Nope. If you want to subscribe, great. If you don't, that's great too. I got to tell somebody who thought they were going to hold me to task. If you don't basically, I'm paraphrasing, do what we say or get on code, whatever the hell code that is, then we're going to shut you down. Talking about my YouTube channel, I said, listen, broad. You don't make sure. You don't make sure I eat, and you ain't gonna make sure I starve. Right. Because if I'm waiting on Negroes like you, as I say, no teps, to make sure I eat, I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be bad off.
I think it's kind of funny how you were being held to task by women when you were actually speaking for women, for the betterment of women. I don't understand. I mean, I guess I kind of understand what's going on with us as black women, but sometimes I really don't, because it's like, if you heard the stuff I was saying, but then there's just some people, and I don't want to just charge it to black women, but since we talking about black women, some black women are just hateful just because. Just wake up with the hate in their eye. Like, what bitch am I going to hate on today? Wait. What did I tell you years ago? Sit in an airport or just at a job and watch the black woman coming in the morning. Her fist is just bald.
But why do that to your fellow sister? Or a fellow black woman. I don't understand that.
Because we're trained to be jealous.
I get it, but why? Hate. I know that. What you mad because I'm not saying the things you want me to say? Because one thing I've never done, as long as I can remember, I've never buckled to peer pressure. I've never, as it's been termed, had the mind of the crowd. I've never done that. But what I want to do is, if I'm going to use a platform or have a platform such as the one that you provide, some of the things that I do, I want to bring the most information that's credible as possible. I've never been one to just get up and ran. Well, let me tell you what had happened was, because if I was talking about Cardi B and Nicki Minaj's bullshit, then we would have a whole bunch of people saying, girl, you right, and I'm Team Cardi B, and then none of them bras ain't doing nothing. Right. Cardi B and Nicki Minaj ain't doing nothing for black people or anybody, and they're like, what can we do with that nonsense they're doing?
Right, and by the way, did you know they're still beefing?
So I heard, and that's like, I get a news feed on Google, and that's been on my news feed. I'm like, why do you guys think I care about this?
Right.
Is this news now?
Yeah.
Two ratchet ass women who got lots of money don't know how to behave. I mean, they know better than two alley chicks.
Thank you.
They alley fighting with each other over a crack rock.
You know what? There is some hope for you after all.
Really?
After all, there's some hope for you.
I mean, but I'm just saying. But so when I say those type of things, or honestly, like I said, I'm past giving a damn. I really don't. But I'm going to stay true to me and give the information.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem that I see. You have raised a young lady that has knowledge of self and has direction versus my ratchet ass child who's out there in the streets twerking and on Instagram with babies and this and no direction on Section 8, so on, so on, so on, and so forth.
Well, I always tell you this, it's not hard to do. You just got to put some time and effort into your children. You got to make your children, I'm sorry, a lot of people don't want to hear that, but your children are more important than anything else you got to do because they didn't choose to be here. So from the time that they're born, at least until they're 18, you need to raise and mentor them and pour life into them instead of pouring silliness and just the nonsense. You got to actually put something into that child. For those of you Bible thumpers, the Bible says raise up a child in the way that it should go, so that way when it's older will not depart from that. And to me, that's just sound advice. If you want a child to be a certain thing, Train them to do that thing. Now, if you want them to be shaking their ass and twerking and,
and just sitting on PlayStation all day.
Do all of that, and that's the result you're going to get. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at you.
Right. My great-nephew came to visit. He was asleep, of course.
And he's so cute.
Yeah, whatever. But he's sleeping. I'm like, wake the boy up. We got to show him how to change some oil. Well, his mom was like, nah, he's asleep. Yeah, he's too. Yeah,
he's too.
You're never too young to learn. Well, no, he knows how to get on the phone.
I agree with that, but that's just.
And with them small hands, he can help me get that oil filter.
Crazy stupid. But why you BSing? My dad was a mechanic all his life. My brother, I also always tell people he wears a suit, but don't let the suit fool you. That Negro know how to fix the car.
Get in there, right?
Right,
exactly.
You can figure it out, but you got to train and teach your children what you want them to do and how you want them to speak and all that. I mean, that's up to you. Now, you can't teach, as my father said, a lot of people take issue with this. You can't teach what you don't know.
Exactly.
So if you're not pouring knowledge into yourself, you're not going to pour knowledge into
anybody
your
else.
child. Let's do the math here.
Right. But
and they're going to do what they see you do.
Right. I had to tell my nephew, this ain't no hangout spot.
Right. Well,
as he left.
He's like, yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah, it ain't no hangout spot. Ready. Uncle ain't playing it.
Have the Legos ready. Okay?
Right, exactly.
You need to tell that to your cat, because the cat ain't moved since.
He's chilling. He's sleeping for the night. He stays out all night. But no, I just happen to notice that you get a lot of negative feedback from your fellow black women. So sad.
But you know what?
Saying, if they listen to what you're saying.
Right. I don't want to say it's by nature, because by nature I'm not an evil person.
No, absolutely
I try to uplift people. Whenever I'm out in public, especially when I see fellow black people, hey, how you doing?
Right.
Even if it's just a hi, or whatever.
Remember that saying? You hang around with what you want to be with. So if somebody has a blessing, and let's say they're a CEO of a company,
right?
And you want to be a CEO, you want to see how that guy's live. You want that Mercedes. You got to hang around that person to get that Mercedes.
Right. I mean, it's not.
How did he do
normally, it's not by osmosis.
Right. How did he do it? Let me steal some of that blessing. Let me follow what he's doing.
Right.
She's doing whatever.
But like I say, I mean, I'm gonna be me regardless. I'm not above correction where you can't tell me something. Like I said, if you can prove me wrong, then I'll concede your point. But don't come to me with your low self-esteem and your nonsense and your madness trying to change me. Because you need to change yourself before you can change me.
Yeah, absolutely. My niece came over real quick, and she's 26 years old now, and I had to tell her, we're sitting here talking. I'm just asking her questions like I usually do, because y'all don't want to be in y'all business.
Right. I want to see my ass in this garage.
Right. But I'm talking about this past weekend, and and I just told her, I told her honestly, I said, look, when you come over here, all you're going to hear is truth. Because I love you that much that I'm not going to bullshit you or whatever. And I think a lot of problems in our black people is we hurt our kids by not telling them the truth.
Yeah, I agree with that. We do need to tell them the truth, but I would also say this to you: you can listen and you're not taking my advice, whatever. Along with the truth, we need to add a little bit of softness. I know that's not a male characteristic.
That's right. That's not my job to be soft.
We need to always, like they say, a little bit of sugar makes the medicine go down, and so. Along with that information, and I agree, a lot of information ain't always pretty, ain't always, easy to take, but sometimes we got to soften our approach.
No, exactly. Well, you would have been proud of me this weekend, because I just told her, Uncle, and I told her, I said, look, I'm highly disappointed.
Well, I would say when I came in, the atmosphere was a lot different than the first time when I saw it. I was like, let me go into the garage.
Right. Well, that's because she was doing something she wasn't supposed to be doing,
Yeah, but I would say, that's what I said, y'all interaction this time, I could tell she was listening to you and was a little bit more.
And I had to tell her, I said, hey, you were supposed to be the example to everybody behind you. And I said, now you got a child.
That's what she needs to hear. You're an uncle. And I think that a lot of times, how much time we got? Okay, well, a lot of times in our community, that ain't my problem, it ain't my child shit. Right. No. But it is our problem, because eventually that child will become a problem to society and it'll backfire. So I commend you as being her uncle, just holding her accountable for teaching her the things she wants to know, because it's one thing to always be on somebody's bumper and not teaching them what they should do instead. Right. And so I commend you for doing that. Right.
And I think a lot more of us need to do that, because how are you going to have a son go in and out of jail smoking weed and you have I was watching a show where it's women of Memphis, police women of Memphis.
Don't say for my man.
No, not that one. But the funny thing was, in the show, they arrested the young man, and the mother had no concern. He was smoking weed, and the cop was like, that's illegal. And the mother was like, well, can't y'all release him here? I have to go all the way downtown to get him. She was like, no, you have to go downtown. And the police lady was like, the mother seemed more bothered about having to go downtown.
If the mama only would have did the work in the beginning, she wouldn't have to drive her ass downtown in the end.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You see your kid going down the wrong path. We're not saying anything. That father ain't here. I say it all the time. Regardless, the father is not there. You're the mother. You're the custodial parent. Right. What would you do?
Right.
And that's what we got to start doing as a people. And again, it starts with the woman. I don't care what anybody says.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.